It's Alex, also known as PinkCraftyMama. It is Victoria Marie's annual fall retreat / cyber crop, and clearly because I'm not in Texas, I'm taking part in the cyber crop bit, and so I'm hosting challenge number 6, and it is the Your Crafty Name challenge. So the details about that are going to be in the post, but basically it's sort of like a recipe challenge, and you use certain letters in your name to look up against a list and see which items you will be creating with. So what I've done is an example. So that's me. I don't know if you can see it. I should be able to. So anyway, it's the first 3 letters of your first name, the last 3 letters of your last name, and as a bonus, your middle initial. So I have, some of them I haven't quite decided on, and it will only be as I go because I don't really know exactly the finer details of this until I get to them. Does that make sense? It's not sort of completely planned out. So for A, I'm going to do aqua. That's not a big shock. L will probably be leaves, or it could be layers. I'm going to do layers anyway, maybe, but layers seems like a cop-out since I virtually do that all the time, so I thought I'd challenge myself and do leaves, but layers can be a bit of an emergency. E will either be ephemera or enamel dots. That's a pretty easy one. S, I'm going to do a sketch. Could be stickers. I'm going to use plenty of those too. M, mixed media, that's right. Mixed media techniques. Sorry, my handwriting is really not great. O, for O and N, some of the options, because I gave the little chart that is enclosed, it didn't really print properly on my home printer, I think because of the font I chose, but it has a few choices for each letter, and O was something old, so some old supplies, but that would be relative to how long you've been scrapbooking, so old for me. And so you'll see what I've pulled out for that. V. Again, this is one that I haven't completely decided on. It will either be vellum, because I have cut out some vellum leaves and I don't know whether I'll use them or not. But if not vellum, then it will be maybe Viewmaster motifs. I've got some Viewmaster paper and some stickers, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so that is, I'll just stick that somewhere where I can see it. So this is a sketch that I thought I would use, and this one lends itself quite nicely to mixed media because there's, I mean, it looks like there's a bit of watercolouring in the background, but there's loads of room in the background to do something with. So anyway, this sketch is by Laura Whitaker. She does the sketches for the Stuck Sketches challenge group. Anyway, I will put this somewhere. Yeah, it's out of shot, but I can sort of see it. I'll bring it back. Anyway, I thought I'd use this as my background. It's not completely plain white cardstock, and the reason why I want to use a whole lot of mixed media is I'm going to scrapbook about the day I went and did some classes with Diane Reveley. She was touring Australia, I think, was it August, September? Yeah, last month or the month before. It'll be an ongoing story, and the journaling for this one, I'm not sure whether this will be the first or the second layout in the sort of series of however many that's going to be. So the journaling taken on its own may not make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so background, these are the sort of colours I'd like to incorporate. I mean, the red for her vivid red hair. She loves pink. I use loads of pink as well, and I love pink. There's my aqua. And the shop where we had it had a lot of the blonde sort of wood grain, and so it sort of does bring up a lot of those colours and the black and white, and yeah. And I thought a lot of the motifs in Chamel's new Glitter Girl line suited perfectly. There are some crafty motifs and sort of sayings and things like glasses, because, you know, we both wear glasses, and the sort of slightly retro styled things sort of suit, you know, Diane's vibe and everything like that. So I thought that's where I'd start. So this one is Glitter Girl. I don't know if I'll use this exact one, but this one is from Little by Little, I think. That would make a good background. So if I use this is my Something Old. It's one of those Love Elsie fabric papers. So it used to have a sticky back and come with one of these like peel away thingies, but it is not sticky at all. These cut apart things, I thought I could use, say, that one as a, I don't use the word magic, but I could use, like, I think that something, you know, as a layer. That's such a cute pink on the back. This is leaves if I do use it. I hadn't planned on this exact one. Oh, this is more of the Love Elsie. The colours also work really, really well with Chamel's Glitter Girl collection. Let's see. This is one's the Roxy one. It is 2006, I think. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, 2006. So, and the back is this pink ledger. Worked really nicely as well. So for the strips on the top, I thought one of those, the starry print. Definitely the glasses. That brings in more of the aqua. But if the glasses just don't look right, then obviously there's the leaves. Some words. More words. I like a lot of words. And I want that biggest block on the page to be these florals. Some of the stuff, the leaves and the florals, they remind me of some of the stamps and things that we used in the class as well. So here's my Viewmaster paper, and I'm probably not going to use the green, but look, red, black, aqua blue, that's quite perfect. So that. So I mean, I've got a few other papers that might be options as well, and I have some stickers, loads of stickers with various motifs, and some enamel type stickers that go with this range, and with a different range. I think it's the Zoe collection. That's got a lot of artsy craftsy type of motifs as well. So what I don't use on this one, I will stretch out and use on some of the others. So I want them to coordinate but not be sort of too matchy. So this is going to be interesting. My photo is, let's have a look. It's not quite 4 inches. So that looks like, in total, this one is, it's about a 4-inch photo. So yeah, I want a reasonable amount of this showing, but I don't want too much of it. So I don't want it to be quite as much as 6. Maybe if I do, say, 5 and 1 or 5 and 2. And I'm going to be brave, and I'm actually going to rip some of it as well, because it's sort of definitely ripped. And then if I rip the fabric paper and get all those threads showing, yeah, okay. Let's try that. I'll start with this one actually. And just see if I can tear it. Well, I don't need the trimmer. I'll just cut and do a tiny bit and see if that will tear. Because I don't know about the glue on the tears, but it's not ideal. Alright, I'll cut it on the trimmer and then just try and fray it up with scissors. I'm being very brave, by the way. Using this paper that I've clearly been hoarding for a long time. So yeah, what I'll do is this. Alright, now I'm going to cut 4 inches and then actually I'll cut 5 and do some ripping. I'll need to rip a bit from the top and the bottom. I went with 6. Now, it's quite a big divot. I also don't want it to go all the way to the end. Okay. Alright, okay, I'm not going to use that one right at this very second. So, here we go. Oh, this used to be all the rage back in the day, and I used to do it all the time. So why am I nervous now? Because I don't want it to look contrived. That's probably why. Here goes nothing. And I'm not worrying too much about how straight it is. Okay, so here's my little box. I probably should take that branding strip off, shouldn't I? Okay, so I'll put those out of the way for now, and what we're going to do is, I thought I'd just do some gessoing on the background, just to sort of give it some texture and soften some of the pattern, and then just splodge some ink on it. I sort of half thought after putting these layers on, then on top of that put some, I don't know, embossing paste or texture paste or something, but I might not. I think it might be too much. And it takes a lot for me to say that. Now, it doesn't really matter which gesso you use. Some are probably thicker than others. This one's a bit thick. It does, however, dry a lot lighter than when you, after you first put it on. So you might think, oh, I've done it too thick, but thick gives you the texture. You can always just sort of add water. I like to use a fairly stiff, but not too stiff, sort of a brush like this. Alright, here we go. Just don't overthink it, slap it on. Okay, that's mostly dry, so we can probably keep going. It's a really interesting texture if you blast it with a hot heat gun. You can, I don't know if you can see here, it looks like it's bubbly. That's really cool. So anyway, you may or may not like that. It has lightened up a whole lot, so that's kind of what we wanted. The next bit, I'm going to do it on this craft mat, the Ranger craft mat. I used to do it directly onto my tabletop because it's a whiteboard surface, but it's a bit grubby now, and it also is really, really glary. So I'm going to use distress stains. You can use distress ink or whatever, but distress stains, I find I do want to water them down just a little bit because they're pretty intense. And we just use the old scrunched up plastic technique. I just want to point out one way of recycling and upcycling is the little air baggies that you get when you your scrapbooking orders. I just stab them and pop them to save space, but they're really good. The plastic's not too crunchy like acetate, which I use for other things, but it's not, doesn't sort of collapse in on itself like the plastic wrap for sandwiches. And you can pull them, if you find where they're joined, there's you can pull them apart and use them as little individual ones. So that's what I like to use for this. So I've got peaked raspberry and broken china. Okay, well, we'll start with the broken china, so it can sit there. Okay, so I'll do a reasonably decent sized circle. It depends how intense you want it. If you want it very intense, you don't have to add water, but I do. And the more water, I think it gives you a better sort of a, I don't know, splodgy pattern, I guess, if you like. And so it's sort of, I like some of it to go on the gesso and some of it to go where, you know, we haven't gessoed on the edges of the paper, because it does sort of give a different look. I mean, once you put the your papers back on, you may want to go back and do a little bit more. I'll just have this clean off the mat for the next one. And do the same for the raspberry. Okay, that's pretty much dry. I like this bit better, where you can actually see bits of gesso that haven't been completely covered over with the stain, but never mind. It's sort of a bit out of your control. So while I'm waiting for that to cool down a bit, I might cut these strips. Yeah, it's going to be a bit random. So I'll start by assuming that I'm going to use that glasses pattern one, and then when I actually go to put it down, if I don't like it, then I'll switch it out for that leafy one. And I'll do that the biggest, because it needs that extra bit of space to actually, so you can see what there is. The two with the text, I may use a 6x6 pad for at least one of them, and can hide the join behind here, because then it'll be smaller and you'll have more, they'll be more visible. So I'll give that a try. I did end up using the 6x6 for the this one, because really I would have you would have maybe been able to see that it was text, but probably not. So anyway, I also got some of the sheets. I like to cut apart sheets sometimes, usually if I've got more than one, but some of these strips might work, especially if some of the other things that I've cut might not. And then I think some of these square ones could work, maybe with the layering up. We'll see when I get to that bit. But I think what I need to do is get those base layers down with the fabric stuff. I might use some of that super strong sort of tape. Yeah, maybe not the tear one by Stampin' Up's quite good, because you don't have to, it's pretty strong, but you don't have to worry about peeling that backing. And especially when you've got the video camera on, it does make it a bit bit challenging. So I'll just use this. This stuff's pretty good. Now, this one will have to have the same treatment, I think, because it's then going to be sitting on top of the fabric. I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to have to put it on an angle a little bit to cover. This doesn't quite want to cover this bit. That's okay. That's okay. Should be done with that, I hope. The rest should hopefully behave quite well with normal roller adhesive. I mean, I like a little bit of texture, but that's kind of ridiculous. Okay, right. Now these strips. Alright, so I will glue down those strips and then I'll see about getting some embellishments and figuring out all the rest of the bits and pieces, because I'm not convinced about having the title up here. I'm not sure. I want to bring it down. I think I'll put something up there, and I like a little cluster like they've done, but yeah, I don't know about the title, having the title there. We shall see. All right. Okay. Just won't press very hard. This one, I think, is the next one that goes under. Sort of on top, but goes over. Okay, I'm going to glue it down, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to pull it all up again. Okay, photo time. Now I'm going to have to make a decision. It does look like in the picture, that in the sketch, looks like there is some kind of a map. What to do? I think this whole thing is wider. I've done mine wider because that comes all the way down to the bottom. It comes like that. So the question is, how far do I want to bring it down? I might just leave it like this because I think the white, yeah, the white contrasts the way that I hoped it would. Now this has to go at least here somewhere. there's some bits and pieces up here, so that'll cover up this area. Now, I'm wondering, should I just use some pop dots on that picture? Now what? This bit up at the top. What are we going to use on that? It uses all different bits. I'll just find some. I think I want to use bits of what we've already used. Some scraps of what we've already used. Just for continuity's sake. And yeah, some of them look ripped. The bottom one looks ripped and then the other top ones don't. That's just really not straight cutting. Sketch. I think where this heart is, which is about here, I'll put journaling here and title maybe maybe across here, because it still looks like there's a bit more space than I had anticipated. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Journaling. I don't have a huge amount to write. Well, a slightly unexpected battery change has given me some time to just sit and leave it and have a bit of a play and come back to it. And I've sort of come up with this sort of basic concept. I'm going to gently stick everything down, or at least the bigger bits, and see how I like that. The sketch has a couple of journaling cards, not journaling cards, or tags. So I found a couple that would work. There's one that I wanted to use that didn't work, and I was a bit sad about that, but it was just too cream. I'm going to split my writing between about 4, I think maybe 4 or 5 layouts, so I don't need a whole lot. And a little bit here and maybe up there as a backup should be enough. This is probably one of the few layouts where I actually can use a double-decker London bus. Well, Diane's not from London. She's from England. She actually lives not that far from a good friend of mine. So, yeah, I'm just going to make that connection. The globe I cut out from a Starshine paper because she was travelling. She wasn't on an Australian tour, so it made sense to have the map of Australia there. And I wanted to spread a bit of red in each of the areas. And some of these Love Elsie bits and pieces. That's not Love Elsie, but maybe some of these circles. I did cut out from some of the papers these. They would look really cute, and I thought where there's hearts on the sketch I could put these, but they would just turned out to be far too big. Okay, so I'll get sticking before the camera battery complains again, and hopefully some word stickers. Thought maybe also I could use these. Actually, I might do that. Before I do anything else, I might use the gold photo corners, because I want to use a little bit of gold here and there, and they will just help tie it all together. So I like that the Glitter Girl line has some crafty words, and it's got, I think, a paintbrush here and there, and since Diane's very much an art journaler, I think the paintbrush is very apt, and so I would really like to be able to incorporate that somehow. I would like some more red up here though. I did have some, actually. There was one red word here. And I thought if I use the wood grain and the red, maybe I should put the title now before I do anything else. I'm not sure. There's red glasses too. I had a bigger set as well, but they look a bit funny all by themselves. Oh, okay. I need to still remember I've got these. Maybe I should do these first and then come back. Okay, camera. Ooh, not shop, although shop works too. Red. That was cute actually. So we were in a shop. And a lot of this hand doodled style is very reminiscent of Diane's stamps and some of the things that we actually were using. These ones have a few crafty words, but the colours and everything aren't quite right. Oh, hang on, there was some washi, wasn't there? Where are the other glasses? Where's that sheet of washi tape words? Here, this one, I think. Super. I'm going, alright, I'm peeling it off. Okay, this is going to go somewhere. Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe there. It has it in yellow, but that's okay, I can live with that. Maybe if I put this underneath the globe. I don't know. I want something. No, don't know if I want something there. I don't know. Maybe I should have put the super there. I think what we'll do is, oh, I like that. It sort of follows the curve there. We'll sandwich it in there. It's probably going to pop back up again. That's okay.